Hello, hello. It's Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Welcome to Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie, part one. It is Sunday, August 18th, 2024, and I'm so happy you are joining us this week. I've got Mom with me on audio, and we've got some fun projects to share with you. So I'm just going to flip right to the desktop and take the camera off my face. Well, I have not been feeling great this week. I've been a little under the weather. And I'm still I feel better, but just feel like I just want to sit on the couch. Ironically, though, I was doing some stamping earlier this weekend, and it was just so good to just like sit and just like take my time. I don't always do that. Sometimes I feel rushed. But we've got this amazing designer paper sale going on right now. And there are lots of papers from the annual catalog that are on sale, 15% off all of them. And we were showing designer papers last week too with our stamp along video. It's a great time to redeem those bonus day coupons because you can get like then even more money off your designer paper. So you can get designer paper for 62 cents if you if you use two of those bonus day coupons. There's so many great papers to pick from. Did I ask you this already, Mom? Which one is your favorite? Like if you had to pick just one paper.
Oh, hmm. Well, boy, I like Mediterranean blooms. I love the country lace.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just pick one. Wildly flowering, thoughtful journey.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's just so many, so
There
many.
are. I love that there's just like a little something for everything. Like we've got some masculine vibes and some winter vibes and some spring vibes and summer and like just I feel like such a nice variety. And I have to say that the paper that we're going to show you today is one that I thought I don't know, like it was just not on my radar. And I'm hoping after today's videos that you at home will also change your mind about the two market designer paper. This is a 12 by 12 designer paper from the two market suite in the annual catalog on pages 38 and 39. And I've just cut this paper down to 6 by 6, a little shorter because I'm actually almost out of this paper. I can't believe I've used so much of it already, but I've just been having so much fun. I first saw the paper and kind of skipped over it because of the vegetables. I'm not a big vegetable fan. I have a black thumb, and so the I don't know, just the vegetables did not do much for me, and so I haven't been doing anything with the paper. And then when I realized that the only two paper patterns that have vegetables are these two, and the rest are flowers, I thought, wait a second, this paper's got something to it. It's got some fun to it. So I'm loving these colors. Too. The paper includes real red, pumpkin pie, garden green, blackberry bliss, pecan pie. And it just reminds me of summer. And I think you mentioned this in your video too, Mom, like farmers market. Like I definitely get those farmers market vibes with some of these awesome patterns. We've got the different bags and the crate or the barrel, some wood grain, some polka dots, more flowers, and then the other sides, just really some fabulous, all kinds of different floral images and great plaids too that are good for things. Now, the stamp set, even though there's so many flowers in this designer paper, the coordinating stamp set called Market Goodness doesn't have any flowers in it at all. It has some of the vegetables, the lettuce and the radish and an onion, I think, carrots and tomatoes. And the coordinating dies will die cut the stamped images as well as the images from the designer paper. But there are no dies to die cut any of the flowers or anything like that. So it was challenging to use the designer paper and coordinating stamp set. I thought, oh, I'm going to get this and I'll showcase and I kept leaning towards the flowers, and there weren't necessarily stamps to go with that. The other component in this suite are these dots, and these are called the transparent adhesive back dots. It includes clear garden green. I think like that's a lemon lime twist kind of, and blackberry bliss. So really versatile, and you can tell I've been using those quite a bit as well. So let me show you some samples before we jump into today's card, because like I said, I've been having a lot of fun with this designer paper, and I have been making a lot of cards. A
Well, I
lot of
love how you
cards.
do this. When you sit down to stamp like this, you work on 3, 4, 5 cards at the same time. And I love watching you do that. I can't do that. I'm going to focus on one, maybe two, but I can't do what you do. But I love your technique of doing that. You get a lot done.
I do. I miss stamping like that with you. We haven't done that in a
Yeah.
while.
So,
Um, but yeah, like I cut little pieces and like I fussy cut the flowers and then I just kind of like mix and match and I'm like, working on a couple different layouts and then I'll put it aside without gluing it and I'll move on to another one and then I'll come back to that first one and move things around some more before I glue it down. And so that is how I kind of come up with a lot of cards. And sometimes like some of these cards, and I'll show you when we get there, some of them are just like, okay, I'm cleaning up my desk and there's just these leftover pieces and let's put them together to make a card. But these cards actually were the layout that I featured in our team Stamp and Share Zoom earlier, well, last week now because it's Sunday. Um, excuse me. And so I made two different designs, one vertical and one horizontal. And we just use little half-inch strips of designer paper and then the little focal image that I turned different ways. And so I like the way that that turned out. Here's one where I was trying to play with the stamps and I used the carrots and thanks a bunch. So the colors here are pecan pie, pumpkin pie, and garden green. And
love.
then this one was kind of a scrap. These are the ones I made when I was trying to clean up last night. The designer papers, 1 3/4 by 3 inches, and the layouts are exactly the same. I just utilized different pieces that I had cut out. And I used the little detailed die cut bag there. And literally all these pieces I had stamped and I just I just put them on the card and I like the way that those turned out. Oh, I did some fun things on the inside. I was really having fun, like doing different insides because there weren't like flower stamps. I used strips and kind of did some different things there. That one's just got the strip, but I was kind of doing a little something different on each of those insides. Here's one where I was really trying to showcase the vegetable stamps, and so I die cut all of these from the designer paper, did a little bit of the tomato paper in the background. I like the way that kind of
Oh,
the single strip sort of breaks up all the other ones. Here's another one. This was also a last minute, just putting things together kind of card. And I like the way that that one turned out. Um, a little busy with the patterns, but I don't know, I kind of like it. And then I designed a project kit for July, and these were the three card designs that I designed for that project kit. This one I brought in some stamps from the labeled with love stamp set, and
oh,
all the sentiments are from the Simply Said stamp set.
nice. Very nice, Jay.
This one's a top flap double gatefold card.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was kind of playing around with that. Well, I have another fun fold, not quite that fun. It's not quite that fun to share with you, but still a bit of a fun fold today. I really wanted to focus on using the designer paper since it's on sale. And so I wanted to share a design that that focused on the designer paper. And so I've got a piece of designer paper that is 5.5 by 6 inches, and I scored it at 4 1/4. And I've done this design before. It's kind of one of those where you can see both sides of the paper. So that's
Mm.
going to fold over to the front. And then I also have a card base that is the basic white cardstock, 5 inches by 7.5 inches. And I scored at 3 3/4. So this is going to be just like a little card, and that's going to go inside um, inside the designer paper. So we have this card that opens up like that. Okay, and then I've got a 2x4 piece of real red cardstock. This is going to be a little banner on the front. Some cardstock to stamp my tomatoes, and then I couldn't decide on the greeting color, and maybe you can kind of help me now take a look at this. So this designer paper, I don't know what color that is in the background. Like, should I use peach pie for the greeting, or should I bring in petal pink for the greeting?
I like the petal pink.
That is how I was leaning, but on all my other cards, I used the peach pie, and so I felt like I should use that one. But I do think that's a better match.
I like that better.
Okay, so let's do some stamping. I'm bringing in some of the stamps from that Market Goodness, and I need to grab my scrap paper. Well, that's not what I wanted, but that's what I grabbed. It's a weekly to-do calendar, and clearly I should be using this again. All right, so we're going to do some stamping, and I want to start with this stamp that has the X's, sort of that little border. Again, I was just feeling like I wanted to try to incorporate some of these stamps from the coordinating stamp set. And so that's why I chose the vegetables, but I do have another version of this card that focuses on the flowers instead. I'm stamping in real red ink on the real red cardstock. So it's sort of just a subtle little background there. And then I'm gonna cut a banner tip. But while we've got the stamps open, let's go ahead and stamp the other components. So I'm going to do, oh dear. Okay. I'm gonna do I think it's easier to do the stems first on the tomatoes. Um I tried this two different ways, and it seems like it was easier to line up after the red ones after because you could just see a little bit better. And then I am not sure how I feel about this. So we are going to decide if we want this on the front or if we want to turn it around and put it on the inside. So stems first, and then I'm going to come in with the tomatoes. So a lot of the stamps in this set are two-step where you're adding different colors. Look at that.
Perfect. Good job.
I love like some of these stamps have like highlights and white parts. Like this one is an example of that where the stamp is not solid and it has sort of those white lines built in. And I think it just really makes for a dynamic stamped image.
I agree.
I'm just kind of hovering as I do this and trying to line up the leaves over the top. Not
Nice.
too shabby.
Good job, Julie.
Okay. For the sentiment, I'm going to use hello on the front in garden green. And then I'm trying to decide here. I guess we'll have to come back. So this is either going to be in the front like this, or if we feel like it's too busy, I'm going to move it on the inside and leave the front blank. So that's what we're trying to decide. And whichever one is going to be the inside, I'm going to come back and add thanks a bunch. So I will put pause on the ink right now. And we're going to use our little mini die cutting machine. We should have got that out.
Are you using Lucy or Desi? Ah, Desi.
I've got Desi in the front. I gotta rotate Lucy back out. She is sort of behind on the shelf. Um, Lucy is my my white mini machine. And then when they came out with the blue one, we called it her little brother. So we got Lucy and Desi. I'm using the little flower here, and this is kind of fun. This die set has these little flowers, and then these are tiny little stems. So you can make a little bouquet, and then you can die cut the little teeny tiny bow, and you can create like a little bouquet. Um, that's kind of fussy for me. So I don't have a sample of that, but I'm sure it would look great. They're teeny tiny, teeny, teeny, tiny. So not only do you die cut the teeny tiny pieces, but then having to assemble them, that's too much. Um, I'm gonna send this through, and I tried to do a magic of TV and have it ready for you, but I lost one of the flowers, so that's why I had to send it through again, at least one time, so that you could see and I could get my flowers. So let me bring in some of my pre-done pieces. There's the flower. I don't want to lose that again. Oh, yes. Okay. I was like, I didn't need to die cut. Never mind. I did. I found it. Oh, I feel so off.
Oh, you're doing great.
And I do not want to lose this tiny little die. So I'm going to stick it right back on here and put it away before it runs away on its own. These are the kind of little dies that would get caught under something and I would lose them and be missing them. Did you ever find your missing die, by the way?
No,
Oh,
I don't know if it got vacuumed up. That's what I suspect happened to it because your dad and I looked all over for that thing. And the bottoms of things and oh yeah. But things happen in the life of a stamper.
that's right. I have a little magnetic bowl that I try to use. Right now it's got other stuff in it, so I need to empty it out and um, be better about using it for dies again. Okay, I brought in the one that I'd already cut, but I just cut a little banner tip here on that red cardstock. And so my thought was here, I'm just going to take either one or two die cuts with the tomatoes and our little hello tag. And so this is kind of where I need your help, trying to decide if adding the tomatoes here is too much or not. And I die cut these little white flowers because I'm going to do a little close up for you. In the designer paper, there's little white flowers by the tomato plants. And so I just thought I would bring them in here. Okay, so when it's all glued down, this is what it would look like with the tomatoes here.
Okay.
Or do you prefer to have
Wow. I
no
kind of
extra tomatoes?
I kind of like those tomatoes in the corner on the
Okay,
white.
you don't think it's too busy?
Um, not really, no.
Okay, so one or two tomato plants.
Hmm. Two.
Okay.
It balances it out.
All right, let's glue things down. Before we do that, though, I'm going to add that stamping on the inside. So I'm going to do the thanks a bunch. Is that what you call a bunch of tomatoes? They're a bunch, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'll go ahead and stamp some more tomatoes in the corner inside as
Yeah.
well. I got some fresh tomatoes from Margot's daughter's garden.
Ooh, yeah.
And
Barb
I
brought
would,
me some tomatoes.
what's that?
Barb brought me some too. We had BLTs. They were so nice.
Mm. Yum, yum, yum. I was making up that like really a salsa or a slaw. I don't know. The thing I made at your house with the tomatoes and the
Oh,
onions and the
yeah.
cucumber.
Oh,
So yummy. And so yummy when it's fresh too.
yes.
All right, I'm going to adhere the card base and center it on the designer paper. And then I'm going to add some glue and glue that flap down so that opens up together. So, um, or not, I don't know. I guess I don't have to glue it down and then it would open up. I think I'm going to glue it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to just put some adhesive on the white cardstock and then fold the flap over. So now it opens up. And then we'll add some adhesive to the tomatoes. A little Stampin' Dimensionals to put the tag on, and then also to put the banner. Because I glued that front flap down, I don't have to worry. But if you don't glue the front flap down, then you want to make sure you don't put adhesive all over if that needs to open up.
Julie, this is such a sweet card. I really do like it.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. I really kind of struggled. We were talking about this yesterday. I struggled with the tomatoes because I'm like, who would I send a tomato card to? So I would love to hear from you at home. Um, who you might send a card like this to. And Mom, you had the perfect answer, and that is someone who loves to garden.
Yeah.
Um,
As long as they like tomatoes.
yes, and someone who likes to garden that gives you tomatoes. You can send a
Yeah.
little thanks a bunch for sharing your your bounty with me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add some glue dots here for the little mini flowers and oh, my take your pick tool doesn't have the putty end in.
Oh,
I gotta figure out where my putty end went to. So I'm going to hack it and use a glue dot. Try to take some of the sticky out so that it's not overly sticky. And I'm going to use that to pick up my
very nice, Julie.
my little
A
pieces.
little MacGyverism, as we used to call things like that.
Yes. And then one more. Let's do the big one.
Oh, nice.
Since I've got the little white flowers, I feel like those are the embellishments. And so I thought about bringing in the other embellishments, but I feel like that might just be too much. What do you think?
Yeah, probably. Because where would you put them? Unless you use the, no, you wouldn't want to do that either.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it. I feel like the white flowers are the embellishments.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so here is the vegetable version. I told you I did make a second version. Here's the flower version.
Oh, so sweet.
So for this one, I just fussy cut the bouquet and then I used the same punch to punch a smaller piece. On the inside, I had a little bit of strips down there, but I wanted to show you really quickly how I made that smaller punch. I used the label with love punch and I punched one out and then I took it and I fed it back through and um sometimes using a sticky note or something to hold it works, but I brought it back through and then punched again to get the smaller shape to use on this card.
Nice.
You could do the same thing with the die if you have that instead of the punch, but I used that kind of shape and then I put it on several of the other cards that I shared at the beginning.
Nice.
All
Beautiful.
right. Those are my ideas with the two market designer paper. I'm going to flip the camera around one more time and show you my card before we head over to Mott's channel. All right, here's my finished card again. I love this little, I don't want to call it a fun fold, but I love that it uses designer paper and kind of shows off all the sides. So it works well when you have a paper that has coordinating patterns on the other side. Sometimes the papers don't don't coordinate so well and don't make sense to do that with. But whether you're using the To Market designer paper or other paper that you have at home, I hope that you feel inspired by the card idea that I shared today. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed our Sunday stamping video, and subscribe to my channel and Mom's so you don't miss out on future Sunday stamping videos. But it is now time to head over to Mom's channel for her part 2 of Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie, and she's going to share some more card ideas using the To Market designer paper.
Awesome. See y'all in a
But
bit.
yes, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye, Mom. Love you.
Bye, Jay. Love you too.